and all of the technology ideas that we had, the architecture concepts were sound, but the way we were doing computer graphics was exactly backwards. Instead of, I won't bore you with the technology, but instead of inverse texture mapping, we were doing forward texture mapping. Instead of triangles, we did curved surfaces. So other people did it flat, we did it round. Other technology, the technology that ultimately won, the technology we use today, has Z buffers. It automatically sorted. We had an architecture with no Z buffers. The application had to sort it. And so we chose a bunch of technology approaches that 3 major technology choices, all 3 choices were wrong. Okay, so this is how incredibly smart we were. And so in 1995, mid-95, we realized we were going down the wrong path. Meanwhile, the Silicon Valley was packed with 3D graphics startups because it was the most exciting technology of that time. And so 3D FX and rendition and Silicon Graphics was coming in. Intel was already in there. And, gosh, it was like what added up eventually to 100 different startups we had to compete against. Everybody had chosen the right technology approach, and we chose the wrong one. And so we were the first company to start. We found ourselves essentially dead last with the wrong answer. And so the company was in trouble. And ultimately, we had to make several decisions. The first decision is, well, if we change now, we will be the last company. And even if we changed into the technology that we believe to be right, we'd still be dead. And so that argument, do we change and therefore be dead? Don't change and make this technology work somehow? Or go do something completely different? That question stirred the company strategically and was a hard question. I eventually, advocated for, we don't know what the right strategy is, but we know what the wrong technology is. So let's stop doing it the wrong way. And let's give ourselves a chance to go figure out what the strategy is. The second problem we had was our company was running out of money. And I was in a contract with Sega. And I owed them this game console. And if that contract would have been canceled, we'd be dead. We would have vaporized instantly. Whew. And so I went to Japan and I explained to the CEO of Sega, Iri Majiri, really great man. He was the former CEO of Honda USA, went back to Sega to run Sega, went back to Japan to run Sega. And I explained to him that, and I was, I guess I was 33 years old. When I was 33 years old, I still had acne. And I got this Chinese kid. I was super skinny. And he was already kind of elder. And I went to him and I said, listen, I've got some bad news for you. And first, the technology that we promised you doesn't work. And second, we shouldn't finish your contract because we'd waste all your money and you would have something that doesn't work. And I recommend you find another partner to build your game console.
Whoa.
And so I'm terribly sorry that we've set you back in your product roadmap. And third, even though I'm asking you to let me out of the contract, I still need the money. Because if you didn't give me the money, we'd vaporize overnight. And so I explained it to him humbly, honestly. I gave him the background. explained to him why the technology doesn't work, why we thought it was going to work, why it doesn't work. And I asked him to convert the last $5 million that they were going to complete the contract, to give us that money as an investment instead. And he said, but it's very likely your company will go out of business, even with my investment. And it was completely true. Back then, 1995, $5 million was a lot of money. It's a lot of money today. $5 million was a lot of money. And here's a pile of competitors doing it right. What are the chances that giving NVIDIA $5 million, that we would develop the right strategy, that he would get a return on that $5 million or even get it back? 0%. You do the math, it's 0%. If I were sitting there right there, I wouldn't have done it. $5 million was an amount of money to Sega at the time. And so I told him that if you invested that $5 million in us, it is most likely to be lost. But if you didn't invest that money, we'd be out of business and we would have no chance. And I told him that I don't even know exactly what I said in the end, but I told him that I would understand if he decided not to, but it would make the world to me if he did. He went off and thought about it for a couple of days and came back and said, well, do it.
Wow. Did you have a strategy to how to correct what it was doing wrong? Did you explain that to him?
Oh, man, wait until I tell you the rest of it. It's scary, even scarier.
Oh, no.
And so what he decided was Jensen was a young man he liked. That's it.
Wow.
To this day.
That's nuts. Boy, but the world owes that guy.
No doubt.
Right?
Like, no doubt. Well, he's celebrated today in Japan. And if he would have kept that the investment, I think it'd be worth probably about $1 trillion today. I know. But the moment we went public, they sold it. They goes, wow, that's a miracle. And so
wow.
They sold it. Yeah, they sold it at NVIDIA valuation about $300 million. That's our IPO